So now today's topic is IoT system, networks and protocols. In this unit, we will learn the basic things of RFID, their types, then wireless sensor network, M2M, that is machine-to-machine application network, computer connected to internet, various network devices, their configuration and management, and how the information is exchanged in real time without human intervention. IoT protocols, IoT security, and IoT communication. So, as we start from RFID, RFID stands for Radio Frequency Identification Technology. So, this is the wireless technology, and these technologies are divided into two main parts, that is tags and readers. So, reader is a device that is used to read the hotel values are available with tags. It will be read by the readers. So it's a basically device that has one or more antennas that can send and receive electromagnetic signals back from the RFID tags. As I mean, suppose suppose we have every tag consists the some metadata about that particular object, and if the particular objects are comes in a particular that particular range, then RFID reader will read their whole details with the help of tags. Whole details of whom a object. So this tag and next part, which is the tags, which store a serial number and unique identifier, use radio waves to send their data to nearby readers, and they contain RFID chip, also known as integrated circuit, which will communicate data to the reader. So basically, these systems are used when we want to track and monitor any object uh, for particular environment where human can't reach easily. So we can use this technology in that case. So RFID technology. Now how it will be works. So we have there are four main components. One is computer database, RFID reader, RFID tags, and antennas. So basically, the work of RFID tag is attached with the particular object, and this objects or tags will go to store, will go to transmit whatever data stored by them. It will be transmit to the it will transmit store data to the antenna, and antenna will receive whatever data stored in a RFID tag and transmit that data to the RFID reader. So the work of RFID reader is it is connected to the firstly it connected to the antennas wired or wirelessly, but mostly it is wirelessly, and it receives data from the RFID tag, and finally we can forward this data, we can share this data to computer database. So data is transmitted into RFID database where it can be stored and violated. So this is the working of RFID technologies. So first thing which is comes in picture, that is RFID tags, antennas, RFID readers, and finally is computer database. Now the main components, as we discuss, RFID tag, which is very small in a size, and antenna. The microchip store the tags information while antenna transmit and receive the signals. So this RFID tags might be a positive, passive, or it might be a uh, active also. So passive means there is no need of battery. It is activated by the reader's signals. Whatever signals are sent by the and through the antenna, it will be active by that particular signals. And active, it is always powered and can transmit signal over the longer range. And third, I forgot this. And third part, which is semi-passive, that is battery power, but can only respond to the reader signal. And next part, next company's RFID reader, which will help us to send out the waves and receive the signal back from the RFID tag. It will help us to handle the device or fix which is placed which is placed fixed. The reader decodes the data transmitted by the tags and send it to the computer system for further processing. The third component, which is antenna. So antenna will help us to read the send out radio waves to communicate with RFID tags and receive the signal back from the tags. And there is we require everywhere we require the interface or middleware. The work of middleware is this is the software that manage the data received from the RFID readers, process on it, integrate it with other systems such as database or enterprise resource planning system. So these are the components of RFID tags. So how it will work? The first step, signal transmission. Second, powering the tags, data transmission, and data processing. When RFID tags enters in the range of RFID reader, the readers will emit a radio signals, and this signal picked up by the antenna in the RFID tags, as we discussed last minute before last minute. Then powering the tags, as we discussed, there are two types of the tags, active and passive. As per their works, it will be start active, require the every time power supply or battery supply, but passive there is no need to supply the battery. It will be in charge by the through the radio signal, whatever signal sent by the antenna, it will be recharged by themselves through the signals. Then we can transmit data once power is done. Then RFID will transmit the data, whatever data uh, stored. It will in stacks. It will be stored back to the readers. This can with the help of this data we can easily identify the unique identifier or other information about that particular object. Now data processing, the reader captures from the tags and send it to the connected computer system, and computer system will post process on data as per the program, whatever programs we have set as per our logic. It will be start working, such as updating inventory levels or granting the access. And then we have discussed these two types, passive and active RFID tags. So there is a difference in a normal barcode and our RFID. So read rate of RFID is only one at a time, but the read time of barcode is only one at a time, and the read rate of the RFID is we can read hundreds and 1000s at the same time. Read range is several inch up to the several feet of barcode, but it is range it depends based on their tags. So it up to 40 feet for fixed readers, and it will be up to 20 feet for the handheld readers. But for active, it is different, up to 100 feet or more. So read speed for barcode is slow because we can handle only one task one at a time, but the RFID will post to handle the more than one task at a time. So it's the speed of this is too fast and readable through objects. No, barcode will know there must be line of sight. Without it will be not work. But for reader it is work through the only tags. And how we can for barcode there is identification. There is only UPS code but not unity. But here we can we can attach the tags with the objects, and these all tags are uniquely identify each items or each asset tags. So already we discussed the type the RFID system components diagram. This is another block diagram of our RFID. So now we can see the difference between the active RFID and passive RFID. So and battery assisted passive. So here tag power source is internal to tag, and but here in passive in energy transfer, but in passive energy transfer from the reader via radio frequency. In case of battery assisted passive, tags uses internal power source to power on and energy transferred from the reader via radio frequency to the backscatter. So tag battery, yes, it consists of tag battery, it consists of battery. There is no need to use battery for passive. but for battery assisted passive is required the battery. So availability of tap power is continuous. It requires the continuous power supply. It's required whenever the particular tags or readers active, that time it required to provide the power. It will work in battery assisted passive. It works only within the field of reader. So the signal strength from reader to tag is very low for active in case of active. In case of passive, it's very fast, and the more battery more assisted is to moderate because it doesn't need to power tag, but most must power backscatter. So available strength, signal strength from tag to reader. Now it's vice versa. It's required high. Inactive, it's too active. For passive, it's too low, and for that, it's too moderate. So communication range for active is too long range. It may be 100 meter or more, but passive it's short range, that is up to 10 meters, and moderate up to 100 meters. So sensing capabilities of active is required continuously monitoring and record sensor input, but passive in case of passive, its ability to read and transfer sensor values only when tag is powered by readers. And in battery assisted passive, ability to read and transfer sensor value only when tag receives radio frequency signals from the reader. So this is the basic difference between the active passive and battery assisted passive tags. So these are the frequency of operation. Low frequency, it must be at 125 kilohertz gigahertz to 134 gigahertz. For high frequency, 3156 megahertz, and for ultra high frequency, it may be 860 to 960 megahertz. Range of low frequency is up to 10 centimeter. The range of high frequency is up to 1 meter, and the ultra high frequency range is 10 to 15 centimeter. So this is the RFID tags. Their properties. There are some models, tools. There are some readers and writers are there. We require some sensors with that particular tags where we can use this RFID. So we can use it in institution, library, hospital, school, and college. For college, we can track the books of library. Transportation logistics, we can track the vehicle, access control. Then sport, even we can in sport we can find out the assets of that player where it is right now. We can easily find out, or we can easily find out the player positions also. And it is basically, as we discussed initially, that is it is mostly used for tracking the animals. So for today's, thank you so much. We will cover next part next lecture.